Hi again, it's Lynette Sanders. Hopefully you've been through the first Feng Shui workbook. Um, this is kind of the mop up, the second set of things to do. It all kind of builds on itself. And if you get the workbook, you'll see kind of the rocket analogy of how the two forces work together. There's resistance and there's momentum. Resistance is the universal conspiracy to keep things the way that they are. Momentum is the opposite. It's being on a roll, it's being on a tear, it's getting more done in less time with less energy. So momentum is the goal. Resistance is the enemy. And Feng Shui is one of the ways to blow up resistance. So a couple of things to mop up. These take a little more time because it's dealing with your clutter, which all of us have, I think. Marie Kondo, if you haven't watched her, has a great system for doing it. I actually just love watching her show because it's motivating, as is watching Hoarders, which is what you get if you don't do it. But walk you through a couple of things. So tidying up your cords. Cords are symbolic for communications. Like we got our wires crossed. If your cords to your computer, your television set, your telephone, if you still have one, your modem, all of those, if they're in a jumble, so your communications will go and so your energy will go. So making sure those are tidied up is huge. I didn't go through this in the workbook, but your computer desktop, if you, and I have too many things open, I do it all the time. If you don't tidy that up, it brings your energy down every time you open up your computer, whether you are consciously aware of it or not. You see all of those open things spread all over your desktop, and energetically, it's kind of like walking into the DMV. So your clothes, there are great systems, and again, Marie Kondo's got a great system, but pulling things out, I tend to organize by color, by weight, and I have a different row for work specifically, like if I have to go out and meet a client, because this is what I wear to work. But it's kind of tidying things saves you time, saves you energy, but it also kind of keeps the momentum going. So broken items, huge. Clocks specifically, if you have broken clocks or broken watches, it literally will equate to time feeling like it stands still, which is so ironic because right now these days are so long. But getting those fixed, putting them in a separate place, or ideally just getting rid of them is the plan. Things you don't love, I've been bequeathed things, heirlooms, if you will. I've been given things, but they tend to be, they're not things I love, or they remind me of a certain time that I've outgrown. Those are going to equate to resistance. Those are going to keep things the way that they've always been. Junk drawers, piles of papers, any kind of clutter, shoes in your closet. Even if you start with one place, it will build on itself. It becomes kind of self-motivating. And let's admit, we all have the time right now. And if you break up your work into 90-minute chunks and then take some time to go declutter something or untangle some cords, it's going to serve you really well. Dusting. Dust is kind of the layer that keeps things from moving or proves that nothing has moved. It can be a really easy way to uplift your energy flow. Stored items. I do have storage. I just cleaned out my shed. I didn't have to take everything out, but the rule of thumb is just put like things together so that you know what you have. Get rid of the big chunks that are obviously trash or that you don't want anymore. You got to think that somebody else is going to love it. But if you're hanging on to things for other people to use one day, I've yet to ever see that play out well. So this is the time to be selfish. If you don't want it, let it go. And unused spaces. A lot of us have an extra room. The second room that I've heard is storage, but could be a home office. It could be a craft room. It could be a yoga room. It could be the dining room that you never use. I just made mine into an art studio because, I was reminded that, this room is basically a hallway. We just walk through it. Nobody's coming. Nobody's coming to take pictures. Use it for something. And that increases your energy flow. So In my workbook, I go through these in a little more detail if you want some reminders of how to deal with these things. But the analogy, and this is all, so Stephen Pressfield's War of Art is a great book on resistance. My analogy with a rocket, and if you've heard my workshops, you've heard this before, and I have checked it with NASA, and they did say it was grossly oversimplified, but it was not wrong. That a rocket has X number of thousands of gallons of fuel. Conventional so-called wisdom would say that it would take half its fuel to get there and half its fuel to get back. But what happens is resistance has a certain energy and momentum has a certain energy. So it's more expanding than contracting. If you can reduce resistance, you're going to get to momentum. Resistance is so powerful though, it takes half that rocket's total fuel to get past 1 single mile of atmosphere. That's the inertia of making change. Once past that 1 mile though, it takes that rocket's half fuel left to get there and back, less 1 mile. So you think half there to get back and half to get back, it's half to get past 1 mile and half there and back. So it might be difficult to start, but once you start, you're going to be on a roll and it's going to be fantastic. So email me if you need me. Go to my website, LynetteZanders.com. Sign up for a 30-minute free consultation if you wish. Blog has all of this stuff in it, and there's more coming every day because I need to get this out of my head. Okay, I hope it's helpful. Thanks.